My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. The name they gave me when they kidnapped me and brought me to Moulton, Alabama is Peggy Ann married name Childers. Now then, I wanted to put this on here and make it brief so maybe somebody reads it. I'm listening to Syria, and I'm listening to things that sound like concerns out of the mouth of the media here. They've known about me before I did. I'm 74 and a half years old. I just wanted to say this. They have committed, the United States, every act of terrorism in the book against me. They've used chemicals on me throughout, mind control, programming on my kids and me. And I'm the monarch, the real one that they kidnapped and got my Uncle George, Elizabeth's father, to help and inserted the old monarch. So I'm going to go from there to here in Roanoke when I came here just to have a place to be, and slept on the Appalachian Trail and starved and froze over and over with no clothing, and how I made it, I don't know. And everyone around here knew it, but they didn't want to get involved. The cops and the feds and everybody told them not to. I got news for you, they wouldn't have anyway. It was like I had a plague, stay away from it. Don't let it happen to them. But they didn't mind hurting me. And I'm going to quote when I had finally got a job in 95, a live-in. And I'd managed to scrape and save together a little money. And then I got a room in a motel, but it was a nice one, budgeted in, out on Williamson and Plantation. It was owned by some people from India called Patel. The Patels came over here, and they have gotten quite wealthy. You should see what they own now. And they bring the rest of their families to this country. But they own the motels and nice ones around Roanoke and all over, and in Charlotte, North Carolina. My point is that I paid the rent a month, and I don't remember really if I paid the deposit. I guess I did. But I paid the rent. And I got to stay in the room just a few days before Patel came up and said, knocked at the door and said, we're going to start renovating, we're going to start painting, and I've forgotten what all. He said, but I'm allergic to chemicals, and right now I can't stand it because that's what's being used on me. I'm in so much pain, and it's ripping me apart. My immune system attacks itself. So they've used chemicals and everything else, and nobody will touch it. The cops are telling them to do it. They won't prosecute. So anyway, so how do I prove it? I can't get an attorney. So the point is that when he knocked at the door and said, and this is November, and it's cold here in Virginia, so you don't even renovate that time of the year. So I tell him, I said, I told you when I came in that I'm allergic to chemicals. And he said, well, he was going to do it anyway. So I called the cop. The cop came out. He told me I was the one that was going to have to leave or I'd get locked up. And he started to arrest me. I had done nothing, just trying to tell the cops what was going on. Little did I know that they already knew. So I can't remember if he really put the cuffs all the way. He did, and then he undid them. And he said, you're going to have to leave. In other words, I'd paid my rent. I'd saved up my few clothes, a few things I put together. I lose them because they make me leave by soaking me in chemicals wherever I go. Anyway, I'm not going to tell how and why. I mean, the feds, FBI have the investigative team in the country. They can investigate the state troopers, local law enforcement, and if they don't go along with something, they'll put them under investigation. But the point is, the American people have done this. Nobody but them. They've stood by and helped, and they think it's cute. But I'll tell you what Patel said to me when I'm standing there when the policeman left. He said, we're citizens in this country now. We have to do what they tell us to do, and that's held true. I'll say this, in February, they've used the mental health system to do their murder for them, and the kidnapping and lockup and torture with chemicals too. To have a place to be, I was out on the Appalachian Trail. And this is February the 4th of 98 or 97 when that big one came through. I was up there, and I'd been out there in bad weather, but this was the worst, and it caught me off guard. And I tried to get down, and the trees were cracking and all this was going on. I couldn't get down, and I was stuck. I thought I would die. So on the 8th, I finally made it down, and it was bad because my legs were just about frozen. Everybody here in Roanoke and around, and in Huntsville, Alabama, Atlanta, Georgia, you name it, know about what's happened to me and being done. So I ended up, when I got down, and that was rough. I had to go through a freezing creeks and everything. I got down, and I went to the emergency room. And, man, they didn't let me leave. The problem here is these Carillions, they all know what's going on. They always have. They sent a social worker down, and she showed me a file she had on me. She's about in her early 20s. And on the side of it had a letter I had written to Jack Hartsfield, a friend of mine, a reporter, FBI agent, who knows all about this. And because I had mentioned, I don't know how she got it, because I mentioned writing a medical malpractice book, I get handcuffed. I don't have pants to put on. I don't have shoes in this winter. And I'm hauled off to evaluation across the street to see if they're going to lock me up in the state mental facility. And let me say this. Through all of this hell that I have really gone through that not many people could, I've kept my mind together. It's when I got there the next morning that I knew that I had to go before a so-called judge that they send around and see if they're going to lock me up, send me off to the state. So the next thing I know, Patel, this man I've just told you, this is a psychiatrist that I've never seen or anything. He's a young fellow. He comes in. He just asks my name, tells me his name, shakes my hand, goes out, and orders Halidol. Look up Halidol when you don't need it. It's a torture drug. So I didn't take that one. I knew what Halidol is. I used to work for doctors, and I had it used on me once before in April the 1st of 80 when they put antifreeze in, and I went to have a tox screen. I mean, they have really worked me over. Nobody will prosecute it. So the next day is, I didn't take that pill. Next day it's time to go before the judge. And the nurse comes in, and she deliberately sits there with making me put the pill under my tongue till it melts. So I'm in no shape to go before a judge or anybody else. In 5 minutes, I'm out. I can't even talk. So I find myself out at Catawba, the Roanoke Mental Hospital. I will have to say that it was scary as hell, but they didn't force me to take medicine, and I mean, I hadn't eaten in so long. It was good food, I say that, but isn't that a shame that I've got to go into that kind of environment to be able to eat a bite? And part of it, the release, is you have to have a place to go to. They're saying that they're not taking into consideration what's behind all this, leaving all of that information out. So when I am released, rather than having a place to go as required, I'm dumped out at the main library in Roanoke, and the social worker from Catawba gives me $10. You know where I'm headed, the only place I have to go. I go back out where I just left. The snow had melted. I'm climbing over trees and limbs trying to get back to the top. And I'm going to, because this has been an ongoing thing, because the law doesn't work for me and the people don't give a damn. They think it's funny. And can you believe, on top of everything else, stacks of laws broken, papers that I can prove that I managed to hold together, that Catawba, the state of Virginia, mental system, sued me for all that money where they illegally locked me up? Now that's on my background check. I could go on and on. I wish This my story would be told before the world, and see how the world finds it. And about my family, the Windsors. You know, my dad was a beautiful man, Edward VIII, married my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe. An imposter took out my dad and married Wallace Simpson. And my own uncle, my father's brother, George the Sixth helped. And you got Elizabeth following suit. Anyway,